Hey guys, welcome back to another episode in the deep playthrough Metro Exodus. I will be mopping up the last entries in this journal. Then we've read a lot. In the previous episode, I was fully dedicated to reading through it, and also a part of the episode before that. So it's quite a lot, but it's good to get a grip on the world, so I am happy with it. Part of a deep playthrough. We already read Diary, Crew, New Worlds, Creatures, and now we're going with these last two. Here we go. Gas mask. A gas mask was vital in Moscow. You couldn't even hope to go outside without one, and it often came in handy even in the tunnels. Think of the mushroom fields, especially when the fresh fertilizer was being piled in. I had hoped I'd be able to get rid of it on the surface, but it looks like that was just a pipe dream. There are lots of places here where the stuffy thing becomes a necessity. Charger. My tried and true manual crank charger made from a scooter, alternator, a stabilizer, a transformer, a battery, and metal shears. How often did I have to listen to it whir, waiting for the flashlight to come back to life? Frankly speaking, I'd love to cut down on the times. I have to keep squeezing it, but 20 years after the Judgment Day, decent rechargeable batteries are kinda hard to come by. So we all have to use the restored and re-restored ones. And these hold charge just a little better than a bottomless bucket holds water. Besides, this little charger can, in times of emergency, power things much larger than a flashlight or a night sight. Since it can generate some decent power. It usually takes quite a lot of cranking to do that though. Notepads. This isn't just an old military issue map case that holds maps, pencils and notes on the mission parameters anymore. The efforts or Tokarev, Sparta's tech guru, it's of Tokarev, not or, have brought it up to the order standard and turned it into a marvel of technology while remaining surprisingly light. It now includes a map with an automatic course plotter showing my current location, a radio for communicating with the HQ, a compass and a notepad, which I am planning to use to record my profound thoughts, interesting observations and other things noteworthy. Perhaps one day I might turn it all into a memoir. Backpack. Tokarev has entrusted field testing his newest invention, a combination backpack portable workshop that not only allows to easily carry a considerable load and clean and service weapons, but also lets its user to make filters. Tokarev has entrusted field testing his new invention. I would say that it's missing to me. He has entrusted the field testing to somebody, I guess, but that's not in the sentence. Ah, it's all at the back. Tokarev has entrusted field testing his newest invention, a combination backpack portable workshop that not only allows to easily carry a considerable load and clean and service weapons, but also lets its user to make filters, medkits and other pieces of equipment useful in the field to me. Surely I am honored with this trust, but something tells me Tokarev has an ulterior motive here. This could be his ploy for stocking up on useful materials without even leaving the confines of his workshop. If that wasn't the case, why would he spend time telling me where to find usable metal parts and chemicals? He even proposed I check out the mutants' lairs though I must say the idea seems to be quite good. Binoculars. The binoculars Quest gave to me turned out to be an invaluable gift. Back in Moscow, even on the surface, there was no real need for a pair, but here they do help me out a lot. Of course, you could take a good look at something from a considerable distance using an optical sight, but a wider field of view, great magnification, and above all binocular picture allows to get a good grasp of relative positions of points of interest and distances between them, making the binoculars a must when marking such a point on a map. Bracer. The bracers all Spartans wear are not an important piece of armor, but still routinely save our lives. They are used to mount such vital pieces of equipment as Geiger counters, warning us of dangerous radiation hotspots, and watches necessary for keeping track of gas mask filter usage. The watch is combined with another gadget that, despite its tiny size, is also vitally important. The light indicator. Many a time its blue light hinted me to find a better shaded hiding spot to remain stealthy. And then there's actually like an HTML tag, I think, in the text. The BR, and then the closing symbol. That's a bit, yeah. It's not that hard to notice this. Did somebody read through it all, you wonder, for beta testing? It's a bit weird, a bit, yeah, maybe rushed to release or something, bit careless, bit sloppy. Lighter. This piece of trench art I got from Sukai has been with me through a lot, but its value is far from just sentimental. I always rely on it whenever I need to start a campfire, find my way out of a dark tunnel by following the faintest draft, go through a spider bug lair and want to get rid of their cobwebs, or simply need a backup light source, and it never fails. You can actually find your way out of a dark tunnel by following the faintest draft. That's pretty cool. Like a little learning moment. That's why I also read it. Besides getting in on the backstory, like little gameplay mechanic hints like these. You can use this to get out of dark spaces or maze-like spaces. Spartan suits. The Spartan suit is not just uniform. All members of our order wear. The suits provide a considerable degree of environmental protection, which, when combined with a gas mask, allows Spartans to be reasonably safe during prolonged sorties to the surface. The suits also accommodate a modicum of armor and padding, ensuring, when combined with an armored vest, flexible and reliable protection that can be easily configured for heaviest of engagements or reconnaissance missions, when swiftness of movement becomes the main priority. Night vision goggles. Even before the war, the night vision goggles were a valued commodity in the military forces, even moderately concerned with whether carrying out stealthy operation or effectively foiling those. With relative fragility of such devices and perpetual darkness of the tunnels, their value and importance in the metro grew exponentially. Holy shit, confusing sentence. Even before the war, the night vision goggles were a valued commodity in the military forces. Even moderately... Why would you use even 2 times here? It's like, I don't like this style. Or in the military forces, even moderately concerned with... I think it's weather instead of wither. Concerned with whether carrying out stealthy operation or effectively foiling those. With relative fragility of such devices and perpetual darkness of the tunnel. Their value and importance in the metro grew exponentially. Obtaining a working specimen is a rare luck, and even the Order could never manage to procure enough to make night vision goggles a piece of standard issue equipment for all of its fighters, providing them only for specific operations. Still, all the helmets issued by the Order have the necessary mounting points, and our standard power packs, usually reserved to feeding our flashlights, have additional sockets which all the Spartans can use to plug such goggles into should they obtain one. Alright, that was the equipment. Last section, weapons. The Kalash. Despite the venerable age of this weapon, which before the Judgment Day had played a considerable part in hundreds of conflicts all over the world, its unparalleled reliability and considerable firepower make it a prized position in the tunnels of the Metro and, of course, on the surface. A standard Kalash is simply a solid assault rifle with all its characteristic pros and cons, but thanks to the talent of Sparta's gunsmiths and Tokarev personally, the model order fields can accommodate a huge variety of upgrades from extended magazine to various sights. Not only that, with a few simple operations and spare parts, it can be turned into a weapon of a different class. From a short machine pistol that excels at close range to a light machine gun. This does not mean that the underlying concepts, simplicity and reliability, have been sacrificed either. Even though my Kalash is many years my senior, it saved my bacon on many an occasion and would shoot like nothing happened even after taking a dip in the marsh. Weapons are something we people are definitely good at making. They will probably be ready to kill years after there remains nobody on the face of the planet capable of pulling the trigger. The Shambler. What would be the Achilles heel of a shotgun? The long reload cycle, perhaps. And to remedy that, it looks like the designer of this monstrosity was ready to sacrifice anything. Reliability, simplicity, even a common sense. Still, in terms of sheer firepower, this cross between a meat grinder and a lawnmower is second to none, and Tokarev says that despite its freakish looks, it won't explode in my arms in the nearest future. Of course, if I exercise necessary caution and clean it regularly, I guess I'll pretend I believe him. Despite its freakish looks, it won't explode in my arms in the nearest future, of course. If I exercise necessary caution and clean it regularly, I guess I'll pretend I believe him. The T-car. Frankly speaking, I didn't recognize that T-car was a weapon when I saw it for the first time, and it took me some time to believe that it really could function. Even so, this remarkably ugly masterpiece of the armory station's designers, they'd been driven into making by the eternal shortage of ammo, has proven to be indispensable for the Order's operatives. Not only does Tikar shoot the ubiquitous bearing balls, it is also practically noiseless, packs a wallop and is quite accurate over short distances naturally. All in all, it's an ideal special operations weapon for the conditions of Metro. Of course, you have to mind not just the ammo in the magazine, but also the air reservoir pressure, though Tokarev has at least improved the valve so that the air does not escape unless you actually shoot the weapon. Revolver. In the Metro, where ammo is worth its weight in gold, a weapon's reload speed is usually a distant second or even third priority. While its reliability and simplicity become critical. Humidity, dust, poor quality handmade ammunition, pulling a revolver trigger the second time when it misfires is much faster than fixing a feed failure in an automatic pistol. And in the confines of the tunnels, enemy might deny you the time needed for that altogether. I would say enemies, plural. That's why the armory station started producing copies of ancient revolvers. Soon they learned that even 7 bullets sometimes are not enough to stop a charging Noceless, so they had to switch to a more powerful and exotic for Russia 44 Magnum caliber. A hit with one of these is usually enough to kill a mutant on the spot. That's why the armory station started producing copies of ancient Nagant revolvers. Soon they learned that even 7 bullets, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that is exactly why such revolvers were a welcome addition to the Spartan Order's arsenal. Besides, due to the fact that they retained the Nagant revolver's gas sealing mechanism, they can be fitted with suppressors and modifications introduced by our gunsmith. Let them accommodate any other add-ons, from carbine type stocks to night vision sights. Again, these sentences are so confusing. Besides, due to the fact that they retained the Nagant revolver's gas sealing mechanism, they can be fitted with suppressors and modifications introduced by our gunsmiths. They can be fitted with suppressors and modifications introduced by our gunsmiths. Let them accommodate. They can be fitted with suppressors and modifications introduced by our gunsmiths. Let them accommodate any other add-ons, from carbine type stocks to night vision sights. Quite confusing, but probably it's just me not being that proficient in English. But I also do, it's a bit like Russian developers trying to, or writing English journals. HUD, what firearm? Oh, by the way, Nagant. I'm pretty curious about that word. What firearm could, I'm noting it down to check it out later offline. What firearm could be simpler than a shotgun? Perhaps some extremely primitive zip gun, but those aren't known for their efficiency. A buckshot salvo, though, will make even the toughest and meanest mutants at least think about their next actions carefully. Besides, shotgun ammo is easier to handload than any other kind, so the popularity of this class of weapon is nothing surprising. Their variety, though, never ceased to amaze me, even after I learned that functional shotguns could be made from lengths of water pipes like most of HUD variants are. Perhaps some extremely primitive zip gun, but those aren't known for efficient. Right, a zip gun. Never heard of that as well. Still, anything from 1 to 4 barrels, not counting different chokes, stocks, recoil, compensators, and sights. What? Even within the order, the only standard as far as shotguns are concerned is their caliber. I can't wrap my mind around how Tokarev manages to know them all inside out. Alright, so this is a pretty versatile gun as regards to modifications. The bastard. What if you require something with a better cyclic rate of fire than a revolver, but consider an assault rifle to be an overkill? The submachine guns are there for you. That is, of course, if besides the requirements and fantasy, you have quality machines and materials. If all you have is fantasy and skillful hands, you end up with an embodiment of the beggars can't be choosers principle. You happen to have a length of thin pipe, a dented bucket, a rusty anvil and pliers. Perfect. In a couple of days you may well be spraying the mutants with lead like so much water from a garden hose, with about the same range and accuracy, and not for long Is your creation spitting unscrewed nuts left and right? Will overheat from its insane rate of fire and jam within seconds. Like the bastard gun ever popular amongst the denizens of the metro. Perfect. In a couple of days you may well be spraying the mutants with lead like so much water from a garden hose with about the same range and accuracy, and not for long, as your creation spitting unscrewed nuts left and right will overheat from its insane rate of fire and jam within seconds. Like the bastard gun ever popular amongst the denizens of the metro. Despite all the afflictions plaguing this gunsmith's nightmare, Tokarev managed to turn it into a decent weapon with enough power and accuracy to take its rightful place in our arsenal. Its only remaining drawback that even Tokarev magic was unable to fix is its propensity to jam when it overheats. Still, the number of bullets the bastard, as we naturally came to be calling it, manages to spit out before it stutters usually ends up being enough for any opponent. God damn it! It was a lot of reading. Oh, the decoy. There was still something else, I guess. Yes, decoy. An improvised noise decoy attracts attention of humans and beasts alike with the loud rattling noise it produces. Throwing knives. The perfect stealthy short-range weapon. The throwing knives are cold rolled by many a blacksmith throughout the metro from spring steel. Explosive. This makeshift grenade is essentially a length of steel pipe filled with explosives, but it can still be quite deadly if it goes off close enough. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? A length of steel pipe filled with explosives. So I don't understand the but in there in that sentence. Molotov cocktail. This primitive incendiary device, little more than a bottle filled with gasoline, is still a dangerous weapon if employed skillfully. Why wouldn't it be dangerous? It's a bottle filled with gasoline. Come on. Why put the word still in there? Alright, that was it. Me nagging about formulations and typos. Even as a non-native English speaker, but yeah, that's just me. Anyways, we went through it all. It took like almost some 2 episodes. Almost this one at some 23 minutes, the previous one at 30 minutes, and the episode before that I think 10 minutes or something. So that's like 55 minutes. It's quite a lot, but a long time, but it was also quite a lot of content. Anyways, I think it is best to end this episode here, so that I really have it like sectioned off, like the reading episodes from the more gameplay ones. Or maybe I still have a couple of minutes. Let's just explore a bit and then dive back into the action in the next episodes. What the hell was that sound? Anyways, goddamn, I'm totally dizzy from reading all that. But it's good to know there wasn't that much new in it, and it wasn't that interesting in my view. But at least it's also good to know that that is the case. Yeah, I would only be wondering about it if I wouldn't have read it all. Alright, empty bunks. And some laundry being dried. Hello.
Artyom, come on in and have a seat. Stepan's putting on a live performance here.
So,
Alright.
Artyom, are you up for a jam? Come on, pick
Let's
the
do it.
guitar up.
Hopefully it will end in 5 minutes. Alright, can I play? Oh, that's probably... Yeah, D-pad right. Why would this be D-pad right? Why not simply the interact button? So weird. Anyways, I do think they did a great job of putting all this content in this carriage. Like the dialogues, the music, the journal. It's all really good to get grounded in the world more. Instead of it only being a frantic shooter. It really also tells a story. And I find a pretty cool story at that. Artyom is hitting the high notes here. You see her being in awe of my amazing guitar playing. Yes, I know how to play this instrument.
Thank you, Stepan.
Alright, that was the right
I'm
D-pad.
sorry to ask, Katya,
Oh,
but
now there's dialogue.
Nastya's father. He's dead, isn't he? Does Nastya know?
He really tries to hit on her.
He is. I tried keeping it a secret. Told her he left for the market. Around 3 days passed, and I still kept it in. I just sat there with a needle in my hand and didn't see anything. It was all black before my eyes. And then she snuggles up to me and says, "You should cry, Ma. You will feel better." Sienna used to say it. So I cried and cried. She knows. She knows it all.
I'm sorry, Katya. I'm so sorry.
But I want to take you to bed, Katja.
Let me tell you how we ended up at the bridge.
I'm fainting empathy,
We used
Katja.
to live in northeast from here. Quite close if you go in a straight line. But it took us a month. Everything's bomb terrible out there. Yermak asked me and I told him. Sini used to say there were lots of military factories out there. Not just military, of course. General industry. And now you can't pass through there even with filters. The radiation is so high. No railway either, just crater upon crater. We were quite far, but our counter still went crazy. One route appeared intact. There was nothing to bomb. So we used that one, thinking we'd get further to the west, but of course they did not let us cross the bridge with the diesel. They said it was satanic. They were ready to let us stay if we gave them the diesel to cleanse it.
What the hell is a
Still
diesel?
we stayed. And then we couldn't leave, even if we wanted. That old goat, Father Silentius, brainwashed everyone, so they would just pray and bow non-stop. They broke our diesel down with their bare hands and threw it into the river. Purification. And on top of it, they gave us trouble for not helping them. Xenia went to check what was going on, and there were only locals there, because Silentius at the Skatina had sent our people away to test them. He said that if they wanted to be truly accepted, they had to defeat a demon. Xenia went to stop them. But it was too late. He only found burnt rags.
Pretty cool. I've read
And
this in
then
the
they
journal.
Sent him to do the same. He never came back.
Katya, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Hearing it from multiple sources
You really didn't.
makes it more true somehow. Like,
It kind of got so glum in here.
that's
Perhaps you, Stepan, could play us something.
not more true,
Sure thing.
but it's cool to hear like the same happenings, like or to get them from multiple sources, like verbally, like in a journal, maybe visually as well. It all makes the world more grounded. And so that's really, I didn't really like reading that much in the journal, but it is worth it because of little touches like that. I read about it and now she's talking about it. That like the initiates of Silentius order, of the order of the, what was it? The catfish. They needed to defeat yeah, what did he say? A monster or something like that? But anyways, the electricity orb, and they simply got all killed by doing so. Alright, I used the right D-pad to start the guitar. Now I'm just curious whether the left D-pad does something. Or down maybe. Maybe that's like a different type of song. Like one being rock, the other classic. Let's check it out. Nope, down doesn't do anything. Up doesn't do anything. Right doesn't do anything. And left, yeah, makes Artyom stand up. Alright, see you later, fellers. I'm still in my Red Dead Redemption mood, fellers. That word was used so often. Alright, goddammit, there's more dialogue coming up, but I will do that in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this one. I will probably mark these 2 episodes really as reading episodes, so that people can just skip them should they are not interested in it. In the next one we will be doing a bit more dialogue over there, and then talk to the commander, Colonel Miller, and head out into the world. Looking forward, I hope you enjoyed, and to see you there, and do keep on gaming. See you later.